The crisis of today is the crisis of the soul. For man, woman, black, white, it's the soul. Nobody wants to talk about it. No, everybody wants to ignore it. Everyone wants to act as if they're trusting in God, believing in God. Prayers up, prayers up. Nobody wants to put the work in. Nobody wants to put the work into having a more monastic, spiritually compatible life. It's not about being perfect. I consider myself just as bad as everybody else in regards to my stupidity, in regards to my weakness. What do I have in common with the average American? I'm just as stupid and I'm just as weak. Where do I diverge? I diverge because the emphasis in my particular tailor made religion is I am weak but seek strength. I am stupid but seek wisdom. And that should be the basis for all supposedly religious people if you, in fact, believe in a God and you say you do. You're supposed to constantly strive. You're supposed to acknowledge by my default, I am in a sinful shell. By my default, I am inclined and I have a proclivity towards quote unquote sin. I don't believe in that, in the fundamental traditional religious sense, but I do have my own sort of quote unquote religion in the sense that there is something in every human being, no matter what your belief system, where integrity and standards matter. Again, I cannot stress enough. People then want to have a pissing contest as to who's more perfect. I don't care about everything you did prior to today. I care about right now because right now is all that matters. And I believe I'm right. I believe I'm right in regards to what people are so focused on being like the morally righteous and all the shit and winning the game of morality on the scoreboard. My concern, and what I think lends itself to a stable morality and a stable integrity, my concern is stability. I believe in objective stability. Whatever your moral sensibilities are, I believe that when you pursue when I'm calling objective stability, sleep, nourishment, physical activity, healthy conversations, that no matter what your belief system is, no matter how contrary it is to a religious person's point of view or whomever's point of view, I believe that seeking objective stabilization for your human system will lend itself to being a contributor. It will lend itself to being considerate. It will lend itself to you being useful. It will lend itself to you being able to have harmony with the people around you. And this objective stability I seek as if it were my religion. And everybody, do y'all not see the lack of quality? Do y'all not see the quantity over quality? Do y'all not see how we we're so visually hungry? I can't you expend your free will. You expend your free will all day. And then you want to turn your brain off. I understand that. And so you enter into this passive state. But here's the problem. You enter into this passive state and you tell the internet, take me wherever you want to take me. But where the quote unquote internet takes you, these designed interfaces that are designed to totally be toxic on purpose because toxicity draws us in. It draws us into this needless, stupid drama. The drama on television, when we used to watch that more so than all this roulette internet crap, was better for us for our attention spans because at the very least it was in this long format. But now you get these clips and these clips and these clips, and it's chipping away at our attention span. It's chipping away at the standard of stimulation. Whatever. Here's the point. There's no way to solve anything until you admit there's a problem. There's no way to become a better human being until you admit there's a problem, until you admit something about yourself. I am a part of the problem. I suck. I am weak and stupid. But it doesn't stop there. That's what I just cannot stand about the average person's mentality, is that you want to complain and complain and complain, and then you want to talk about how you have these bad relationships and these bad friendships and but you're not making the efforts for you yourself to become a more evolved person, a person with clarity, a person who is the warrior in the garden. And I'm not saying that I'm a warrior because I'm gonna go and fight a fire. I'm a warrior because I'm talking about a warrior against inconsideration, a warrior against toxicity, a warrior in our modern day world where peace and civility should be paramount and normalize in the standard where that's what we all want. None of us want needless drama. None of us want needless conflict. If conflict arises, obviously you want to be a brave enough person and audacious enough person to address it. But even then, so many people that think they're so like, oh no, I wouldn't let them talk to me like that. They're so full of shit. When you get down to it and you hear the ins and outs of their life, they don't have enough gall to have honest discussions with the people they're close to. They don't have enough gall to talk to with their mothers, their fathers, their brothers, their sisters, their cousins, their friends. They don't have the gall to just be totally honest and transparent and vulnerable about how they don't like the toxic dynamic. They don't like the inconsideration. They don't like the unhealthiness. But that's because, again, if you're not calling it out, you're a participant. If you're not striving to be above it, you're a participant. And the reason why you're not striving to be above it is because it's easier to follow the crowd. It's easier to just ingratiate. It's easier to just assimilate. And what I respect so much about a lot of like the David Goggins of the world, UFC fighters, anybody that rises to even freaking like Gordon Ramsay or whatever, anybody that strives for standards no matter how much they fail, anybody that strives for strength of spirit, strength of character, strength of integrity, a bravery, no matter how much they get their ass kicked. That's what I respect. It's not about you. You're going to fail. You're going to get your ass kicked. This world is going to beat you down. You're going to communicate imprecisely. You're going to have nothing but errors. However, it is about the effort, and it is about the seeking of that, again, what I call that objective stabilization. Forget what the fuck this world is talking about for a moment, for the love of God. And think about the fact that you and so many people around you call the spade a spade. Do you not see how unhappy and empty and hollow and nonsensical and unreasonable and dissatisfied everyone is? Is it not obvious yet? What more evidence do you need? And do you not see how people are trying to buy their way to heaven on earth? Do you not see how empty it is to just accrue crap, just to have stuff, just to engage in impression management for people to think highly of you? No one's perception of you will ever be enough. You have to, we're always going to have that honest subconscious voice. We're always going to have that honest subconscious perception. No matter how much you try to kid yourself, you have to be honest with yourself and admit, I am a fool. That is step one. You have to be honest with yourself and admit, I am weak. That is step one. And then what's step two? Let me engage in the habits and the practices and the lifestyles to make me less so. And I believe that in and of itself, you're doing something major. What do we hate about unhealthy ass toxic people? They're not trying. They're not trying. That's the bottom line. It's not so much that you are toxic. You know that you have susceptibility to being engaging in needless drama and whatnot. But the bottom line is the difference that makes all the difference is a person's effort. It's all about the effort of it all. And if you're not fighting the good fight, I can't feel bad for you. If you're not acknowledging that I need to just be able to be okay with nothing. Not that you have to live like that for the rest of your life, but if you can't be okay in stillness and in silence and by yourself, if you can't confront your unhealthiness, if you can't confront yourself, if you can't examine the dark corners of your soul, if you're not having therapeutic conversations, then find somebody to have those quality conversations with, man. Find somebody, have talks with yourself, non-judgmental, vulnerable talks. I can't, again, I'm not in here. I don't care how imperfect you are. I do not care how imperfect you are. I don't care. But the only thing I care about is how much you're trying to be less so. That's all I ever cared about in anybody. How hard are you trying? How much effort are you putting in? That's all that matters. And some people play the game of I'm trying, but they're not really trying. And then some people trying, they fail, they try and they fail. Each of us knows what's actually going on. We all know. And so being honest assessor, being honest auditor of your own behavior and actions, and know that there's no scoreboard. Human beings have made this crap up. Know that we've been socialized in such a way to where even when we're by ourselves, we tend to not think honestly. We tend to not be have honest criticisms of our behaviors and our way of being, because we're so socialized that we erect these prisons we create these prisons of our own imagination, and to be honest about what we're doing and where we're falling short, and where what areas we need to work on. To be honest about that would be akin to judging ourselves. Forget that crap, man. Judge yourself all day long if it's an honest judgment, if it's a fair judgment. Because the thing is, it never ends there. It doesn't have to end there. I digress.